I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest.
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change.
Finally, The Rock has come back. I hate this idea that you're the best.
And if you're not down with that, we got two words for ya!
I'm the best in the world.
I fight at WrestleMania for the very, very small percentage of people that walk this planet and say I am proud to be, I'm sorry, a professional wrestler.
Oops, I'm breaking the fourth wall.
It's Podcast of the Immortals with your hosts, Matt Bush and Jimmy Bellamy. All right. Welcome to episode 60 of Podcast of the Immortals. I am Matt Bush.
And I'm Jimmy Bellamy.
We got an awesome show for you tonight. We, obviously, we're still, well, I'm still getting over my hangover from Royal Rumble Day. Yeah, it was a good one.
Are you serious?
Yeah, working yesterday was pretty fun.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, no, I'm okay today. This is radio talk, you know. This is banter, is what they call it in the biz.
Oh, well, I guess, all right. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. You liked Raw, not to give anything away right out of the gate, but I thought it was kind of I'd say okay. I'd put it at middle of the road.
Really? Oh, see, I thought it was brilliant. I mean, the Daniel Bryan stuff I thought made a lot of sense after what happened at the Royal Rumble. And I don't know if that was a rewrite because of the backlash that they got or if that was their plan all along. If it was their plan all along, I think it's pretty brilliant. I thought the main event made a lot of sense. I love the Brock Lesnar stuff. I just liked a lot of what Raw had to offer last night.
I feel silly that we didn't touch on it more on Sunday, that this is the plan to incite the majority of the audience, and that eventually, like always, the audience will get what it wants. And that would be Bryan being the top guy and being the champion. We will see that. But right now, I just thought they could have done more off the heels of Raw. And especially with the Orton, Batista, and Lesnar interaction that took place on Monday. I wanted more out of that.
I really liked their interaction. I mean, because there was genuine fear out of both Orton and Batista. I mean, they cowered to this mountain of a man. Batista even looked cross-eyed. I don't know if you when you saw when they had that cut of Batista with his sunglasses on, he kind of looked like Shawn Michaels, I guess. I don't know.
I can't get past his puffy face. I can't see his eyes.
Yeah, or when he was running to the ring at the Rumble, it's jiggling man boobies.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny that it was pointed out to us last night that the Road Dogg is a year younger than Batista. Yeah,
it is weird because he's been out of the ring for 12 years until his recent comeback.
He's been out of WWE wrestling.
True.
He was wrestling in TNA for a while, too.
True.
We can't forget they exist.
We can try. But yeah, I really liked Raw. But before we get really deep into Raw, I got some breaking news.
Yeah, we want to talk about WrestleMania Axxess, which had its tickets go on sale today, and Matt was one of the lucky ones to scoop some up. So tell us about it.
Okay, well, let's fix this first.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're ducking down.
We're like,
got the picture of Jesus in the background.
Lord.
We're in the spare bedroom. This is not our usual recording spot. Since we acquired the mics, this has kind of allowed us a little more space than our usual recording spot. But I think it would be fair to the audience to record in our normal spot one of these times so they can see the lay of the land. It doesn't look much different than where we are right now, but it's
about a third of this size.
Yeah, this is maybe even a quarter. This is not the spot, but it's similar feel.
Yeah, one of these days it'd be nice to have a table that actually I could sit back in my chair and still, instead of hey.
But right now these are the good old days. So when we're in a nice cushy studio with that like styrofoam or that foam batting on the walls, to reflect the sound or whatever will remember these. Like, remember when we had it on the bed? And wait, that didn't sound good. Remember when we had the mixer on the bed with the camera? Yeah, that still didn't sound good, but you know what I mean.
I agree. I feel like we're kind of like a garage band right now, and we're cutting fat, licks, in our base in the garage, and your grandpa's mad at us for being too loud and telling us to knock it off, but soon we'll be rocking to like a stadium full, and they'll be turn it up.
Yeah, and people will be downloading these as archived episodes saying, wow, look, remember when Matt had goatee?
I hope they'll be like passing tapes on the street, like, oh, I got that episode 29, that rare, or episode, I suppose episode like 33 through whatever we finished on Wrestle News will be like the lost episodes.
57?
Yeah, around there. 55. Yeah, 55. So those would be like the really hard to find like LPs. Yeah,
that's when we sold out and went corporate.
Yeah, we totally went corporate.
So tell us about Axxess.
Oh, WrestleMania. WrestleMania Axxess. The pre-sale was today. This has been a notoriously difficult ticket to get. Ticketmaster actually screwed up the last 2 years putting it out. And when I tried to get him last year, I was shooting for The Undertaker because he was signing for the first time in a long time. And I didn't get it. And like it was bizarre because like people were sitting by their computers all day long. Ticketmaster kept like tweeting like, listen, we know there's a computer problem. We're going to try again at like 2 p.m. So we sat at our computers for like 4 hours. Well, I mean, some people got up and then came back. Came back at 2 p.m., same problem. 4 p.m. And then I call up. I go, what the heck's going on with this? And they're like, oh, we sold out at those at 10 a.m. And I'm like, oh, well, thanks for wasting my day. I could have been somewhere else. And I guess it happened the year before. I didn't try to get him the year before. But so notoriously difficult. And I went to log in today. I had 2 different VIP codes because it's a pre-sale. And they have 3 different levels. They have general access, which is pretty easy to get. I mean, they don't sell out right away. You could probably get them up to maybe a week before WrestleMania. They have VIP signings, which have like Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, Shawn Michaels, Randy Orton. Last year they had like Triple H and stuff. And then the ultra like VIPs, which are Batista, Cena, and Undertaker. And those are 175 apiece, which is ridiculous. But so being Shane and me are huge CM Punk fans, I was shooting for CM Punk this year. I log in and I accidentally hit general access instead of CM Punk, and they gave it to me right away, and I was freaking out. And I'm like, oh crap. And then I looked at the price, and it was like $50 less than it should be per ticket. I'm like, oh, I messed up. So I went back, and then I figured out how to like get the VIP, but I clicked on the wrong day that time. So I thought I totally messed up everything. I was just pissed. I'm like, oh, I'm an idiot. So I go back into the CM Punk, and I finally do it right, and there's no tickets available. No tickets available. I try. I tried literally 30 times, and on number 31, I got tickets to CM Punk. So yes, I will be meeting CM Punk the night before WrestleMania 30.
Doesn't he have 31 tattooed on the back of his
Ooh, he does, yeah.
left ear?
He does. So that's close to 30.
That's a story you can creep him out with when you meet him.
Yeah, I'll be like, hey, maybe if I meet you next year at WrestleMania 31, it'll be the same number.
You're going to show up with your CM Punk tee, your CM Punk sweatshirt. You're going to have your wrists taped.
Oh, yeah. And I actually wrote to Rob Schamberger today, and I'm like, because I went on his store, because he usually has like a bunch of CM Punk prints. They're all sold out.
Every one of them?
Everyone. I mean, they have the little 6x4, 8s or whatever.
Yeah, 6x8, or is it 6x11? No.
The small ones.
Whatever, yeah.
I want the 16 by 20, whatever, the ones like I have with Mick Foley and Goldberg. And he had like 4 of them last time I was on there. So I wrote to him, I'm like, are there going to be any more CM Punk prints before WrestleMania? And he goes, maybe. I'm like, you son of a bitch. So hopefully I can get one of those prints. I'm already looking. So if any of the listeners have a Rob Schamberger CM Punk print, I will buy it from you. I will buy it because I want to get that shit signed.
Okay. Thank you for sharing.
Yes.
Anything else from Axxess? Are there any matches? Have those been announced yet?
No, they usually have NXT going on, which would be cool. Last year I got to see Cassius Ohno and Xavier Woods and one of the Wyatts. I forget what's his name.
Luke Harper, Eric Rowan.
The big guy, the really big guy.
They're both really big. The bald guy with the red beard.
The bald guy with the red beard.
Eric Rowan.
I got to see him. And he was actually billed from Minnesota.
Yep.
He was like a lumberjack.
Yeah, he's from Minnesota.
Oh, cool. So yeah, we got to see some cool NXT years. Maybe I'll get to see Paige this year. That'd be sweet.
She's hurt though. Now
she can still be at Axxess.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. She could be, and she could be unhurt by then. She could be healthy.
The session we're going to is actually Saturday night, which is the same time as the Hall of Fame. So a lot of the big guys won't be there, but I'm hoping maybe I'd love to meet the Shield.
So CM Punk won't be at the Hall of Fame ceremony?
Or Sheamus.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Especially since CM Punk is a huge Ultimate Warrior fan.
That is true. He is signing from 6 to 8.
And he told Vince McMahon that he wants to be the one to introduce the Warrior at the induction ceremony.
That is true. Maybe, I don't know what time the Hall of Fame is.
God, it would be awesome if he got to introduce him and then you didn't get to meet him. Oh, I would be so happy. That'd be funny.
You're the worst person I know. First, you want Goldberg to die before I meet him. And now you're like, I hope CM Punk isn't there, you bitch.
Oh, that'd be sweet. If they replaced him with like PM Sunk or something like that.
Like a Gilbert
and
kind of thing.
No, it was just Unico.
And he's got his wrist taped and
like, hey man, I'm CM Punk. I'm sorry.
I'm the best in the world.
I don't think he would be saying hey man.
Hey man.
I'm PM
racist.
I'm PM Sunk. He has a Coke tattoo.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
He's got a Coke tattoo. More like he's got Shasta. Just like the worst.
Mr. Pibb.
Mr. Pibb. Oh man. You know why I like Mr. Pibb? He's not a pretentious like Dr. Pepper.
I think someone said that. You're stealing that from someone. Hold on, I'm gonna refresh the computer.
Okay.
Keep talking though.
Okay, no, I'll wait. Suck it in.
There we go. Okay.
I wonder why. Yeah, we're not getting chat here.
So we're gonna get it back.
Okay, all right. Chat.
Chat fix.
Yeah. Okay. Honestly, I am so excited to meet CM Punk. That's the same day I'm going to meet Bill Goldberg.
Life complete after that, I guess.
Pretty much. Like, what else do I have to accomplish? I went to Comic-Con. I went to WrestleMania.
I think you're set. That's it. I
mean, AJ Lee, maybe?
Meet her or date her?
Both.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to date her so hard.
All right.
You know what it means.
That would be a good time to introduce our next segment. A new segment where you've brought to the show starting this week, and it is an email question. So feel free to email us at podcastoftheimmortals@gmail.com. Or if you want to find us on Twitter or on Facebook, you can get a hold of us anyway and ask a question. But we're going to officially make it the email segment. And this comes to us from Alan Hicks, who I think he's from Pennsylvania. Can you confirm that?
I can neither confirm or deny these allegations.
All right. Well, Alan, we think you are from Pennsylvania.
He hails from parts unknown.
Yeah. Parts unknown. And Alan wants our opinion. He says, okay, I want your opinion on this. I just said that. The internet has been buzzing the last few days. That is more than expected, or it's more expected than ever for Sting to close a deal with WWE to appear for a match at Mania. Who do you think he should face? I know Undertaker is obviously an obvious choice, but anyone else? And do you think he could still put on a decent match We know RVD looked rough in TNA, but ended up looking great when back in WWE. Thanks, Alan Hicks. Alan, thank you for the question, and thank you for the idea of the segment. He is kind of the godfather in that sense. He came up with the idea. I liked it. You liked it. We ran with it.
And we got one question so far. So
yeah, one question.
It's going well.
It's going to snowball, though.
Yeah.
It's going to snowball. I watched the Sting Magnus match when Magnus won to retain his title and kick Sting out of TNA. And other than the fact that half the locker room interfered in that match, it was so poor, and I just feel bad. It's like when Billy Gunn's wrestling now, you see that bald spot in the back of his head, you just feel weird about what's going on. And Sting's
kind of like how I look into the stream right now.
Look back at the closet. Look at the closet. Yep, there it is. There it is. You look like Friar Tuck.
Thanks.
I do not have that problem, knock on wood. But we're gonna show the messy hair. The hair's not done today. I'm getting the shore up on the sides here like that.
Kind of like this.
Yeah, like that. Like there used to be like right here. There used to be hair here.
Yeah.
But since like 2001, I've noticed it's slowly but surely started to go away. Like around the time I was 20 years old. But so far so good. We're all good right here. So I'm happy about that. That's a victory.
Me and Andy were talking about possibly just getting rid of the top.
The top or all of it?
Just, I mean, like,
if I were you, I if and when this happens for me, I'm going bald. Like I'm just gonna shave.
Yeah,
I'm gonna shave it straight up.
So if you got to my point, would you have shaved it by now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have.
Shit. Well, then I can go with Stone Cold. Stone Cold.
Stone Cold ET. So to answer Alan's question.
Oh yeah.
Maybe it's because he's never been in WWE, but I enjoyed the Crow version of Sting for about 10 minutes, and then after that it just got old and silly.
Really?
Watching him beat people up with that rubber bat. And I'll tell you why. And this, again, I know you're big into that because you love Bill Goldberg. The guy hasn't wrestled a match.
Wait. Who's that? Who's
Goldberg?
Bill Goldberg?
William Russell Goldberg.
Oh, Bill.
The man hasn't wrestled a match in 10 years, but
Slick Willie.
We somehow talk about him more than anyone. I know you were a WCW guy, and to me, there's a reason that it's nothing but a footnote in wrestling history now. It just was so weird, and I remember watching, there were some decent moments, and it was best when it was competing with WWE. They made each other better, but for the most part, there was some awful wrestling in those 3 hours of Nitro every week.
True, but there's also some pretty bad wrestling on Raw. But
you take that back.
Hey,
I'm just kidding.
And the NWO Hollywood Hogan versus Sting feud is one of the top 10 of all time. And when Sting made that comeback,
barely cracking the top 10.
Wow. That was one of the biggest angles. That was one of the hottest angles in the history of professional wrestling.
The hottest angle is Kurt Angle. You know that.
He's I8.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, I think he could have a good match. I don't really want to see him fight The Undertaker. What's the purpose? I know that's been rumored and talked about for a few years now, but I think those two probably each need someone else to help carry them. And it's weird saying that Undertaker needs somebody to carry him, but he is going to benefit from a good worker in the ring and somebody who's fit and healthy and young and able to do stuff. Would I complain about a Sting Undertaker match? No, but I'm not a guy who needs to see Sting in WWE. I've never concerned myself with it or cared about him to have him there. It would have been great in the 90s when Ric Flair came over. I would have liked to have seen Sting at that time too, but that ship sailed long ago. But if he were to come back and not fight The Undertaker, somebody on the current roster, I could see him take on, not counting another part-timer.
John Cena.
I'd be okay with that because to me, John Cena, a match at WrestleMania, John Cena with anybody doesn't really do anything for me. So if you waste the John Cena match with Sting, that's cool with me. That would provide more interest. And it's funny for me to have a guy who I'm not really interested in and another guy who I'm not really interested in and have them fight. I actually would care about it. I'd like to see that, but other than that, I'm trying to think. I can't really think of a current guy that they would put him against. I'd like to see him fight Dolph Ziggler just because I think Dolph Ziggler could make him have a great match. But there'd be no reason to do that based on where Dolph Ziggler sits in the WWE hierarchy at this time. But he is a guy on the roster that I think he'd put a good match together with. Who could I see them legitimately having? I really don't have an answer. I mean, Chris Jericho's one I'd like to see, but he's a part-timer.
And he's had a match with Sting before. When he was in, I'm sure he has. I don't know. Maybe he has.
I can't think of a standout where it's like, oh, Sting versus Jericho.
Yeah.
And at that time, Sting didn't wrestle a lot. He made a lot of appearances. He was kind of like Stone Cold, where Stone Cold didn't wrestle a ton on Raw when he was at his height because he was injured a lot, but he'd make appearances and then he'd set up his pay-per-view bouts. Sting did have the big matches with Hogan and Nash. I think he fought with and against Macho Man. He'd fight Hall, and I don't think he really fought Jericho because at the time, Jericho
wasn't big.
He was never a big guy, and that was a big reason why he left WCW, is that he was underappreciated and underutilized.
Sting, his number one thing is that he's been a WCW guy and never been a WWF or WWE guy. So we need, I think if he had a match, he'd have to have one of those guys who's been a WWF lifer, and that's either Shawn Michaels or The Undertaker. I mean, those guys have never been in any other promotion. Well, I mean, The Undertaker was Mean Mark Callis, I suppose. But I mean, Shawn came in as a rocker, and as a 19-year-old, came the Heartbreak Kid and never left. So I think I'd like to see him take on Shawn if they're gonna have just a one-off match.
To me, that's a waste, though. You've got Shawn Michaels, who is done. He's not going to wrestle again, and I don't think he should. He's not going to come back for a match with Sting.
I'm just saying, if they were going to go that route and they had their choice, that would make sense, because it's basically WWF lifer, WWE lifer versus the WCW lifer. Who they were the best at the same time in their companies. Which company is better, basically?
How about Sting versus Triple H?
Yeah.
I mean, the guy who's calling the shots, running the show, and he could talk about how he brought Sting in to prove a point, whether it was a good thing or a bad thing. He could say, you've never been good enough for WWE, and I'm going to prove it. And then that way Sting can get a victory. Because if he comes back and fights Undertaker, he's not winning. Why would he want to sign with WWE for the first time ever and lose his only match with the company? If he comes back and fights Triple H, he can win.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually. But
and then he can retire undefeated in WWE.
He would have to go into the Hall of Fame at the same time as his match, because I think if he does have a match in WWF, or I've gotten WWF in my WWE, I think that's his final match in his career.
Why would they put him in the WWE Hall of Fame when he's never been a member of WWE?
Because the WWE
owns
WCW.
I know. I'm just saying it's silly. It's silly. And he was tag team partners with the Warrior.
The Baseball Hall of Fame has the other leagues in it as well.
But it's the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's not the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame.
I know, but I'm saying that the WWE Hall of Fame is basically the Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Boo. There are other Wrestling Hall of Fames. Halls of Fame, I should say. Yeah, there are. There's other pro wrestling halls of fame.
Okay.
I mean, I can Google it if you want.
I'm sure there are.
Yeah, there are.
The NBC is talking about building a brick and mortar Hall of Fame for the WWE.
Who's talking about that?
NBC.
Really? Because Triple H has talked about that a bit, where he's wanted it to be an experience, not just a place where you walk around and look at like, oh, here's memorabilia. He wants it to be something where you can interact with stuff. And is it that, or are they now talking about having just this building with stuff?
I mean, I just like read, a few sentences on it, and basically like a physical place to have, like Cooperstown is, okay, I want to go to the Baseball Hall of Fame. You can actually go to it. Right now, the WWE Hall of Fame is like a web page, where you can just click on people and see what's going on. I think it would be cool where you can actually, like, it'd be a destination for fans, and if you had like a WrestleMania around it, or maybe it could be a traveling thing. Like it goes to the WrestleManias and they set it up, and I don't know. But I would be interested in going there.
I think we will see something like that within the next decade. It's overdue in some people's minds. And the question is, where would you have it? I could see them having it somewhere and then bringing pieces of it to each Mania every year. But if you want to pick a place that says this is wrestling,
Stamford.
Well, Stamford stands out because it's WWE's headquarters. You can look at places like Memphis, Tennessee, places in Texas that have deep roots in pro wrestling history. Minnesota.
Minneapolis, yeah.
Minnesota's one. But I don't know if they'll base theirs. They might make their call based on property currently owned, weather, geography, tourism, traffic, all that other stuff. And they might even make it Orlando, Florida. They've already got the Performance Center there. Maybe they set up shop down there. But that's a place that I'd like to visit sometime, if and when it does happen.
It would be cool. I wonder if they're gonna have like busts like they do in the other Hall of Fames, and people wonder like, oh, I wonder which instead of like what cap they're gonna wear or helmet, it could be like, I wonder what face makeup Sting's gonna have. I wonder which hat Macho Man's gonna wear. Or which sunglasses.
You can vote on the WWE app to find out which face paint he goes with. But so long story longer. Yes, I think Sting could have one good match in WWE at WrestleMania. There would be a buzz about it, despite me poo-pooing it. And it would be fun to watch. It'd be neat on the card. What I want to see happen overall, though, is WWE get away from this one-shot deal at WrestleMania, because it screws up storylines, it screws up spots, and I feel weird about it. I'd rather see Big E Langston have a match and Kofi Kingston have a match at WrestleMania than have to figure out, well, who's going to get paired up with who when it comes to guy who fights once a year or guy who fights 3 times a year. I don't care about that.
I agree to a point. I mean, Triple H, I could go without seeing Triple H this year. I do want to see Batista fight. I do want to see Brock Lesnar fight. What other part-timers do we have this year?
Well, Chris Jericho still is a possibility.
Yeah, RVD. I was surprised we didn't see RVD.
RVD. Something tells me we'll see him after Mania, just because there hasn't really been anything about him. Undertaker's a part-timer.
Oh, right. I do want to see an Undertaker match.
See, I don't.
I know you hate it.
To me, it doesn't mean anything. The guy fights once a year. I don't care.
They're the most entertaining matches of the year, though.
Let me leave you with this. I'd rather see Triple H at Mania this year than Undertaker.
I think you're on crack, dude.
Triple H will fight a meaningful match against CM Punk, and CM Punk will win, and that will help catapult him to another WWE World Heavyweight Championship reign.
You said you hate Undertaker matches because they're predictable. We already know CM Punk's going to beat Triple H.
But CM Punk needs to win that match. It's felt incomplete. Just like he said, he hasn't won the Royal Rumble. That's been omitted from his resume. He needs to beat Triple H to just show him, I'm the best in the world.
That's true.
And I fight at WrestleMania. I'm sorry.
A professional wrestler.
We're just gonna I can't even talk right now. I was gonna say we're just gonna recite our intro over and over again.
I have a lot of things.
A lot of things.
I want to get off my chest.
Aw. You guys can't see it. He's off camera. Well, you guys, there's one viewer. You guy.
Or
girl.
That
can't
one viewer
see.
is probably us, too.
Yeah, right here. Right there is Mo, our little puggy. My little puggy.
Hey, when I go see CM Punk, should I bring our little Olympus? Go, could you say you're listening to Podcasting Immortals?
Yeah, that'd be sweet. Do it. You could either do that or you could just bring your iPhone and do it.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. He probably won't do it, but it's worth a shot.
Yeah. He'd be like, get the fuck out of here. Let me sign your stupid Rob Schamberger.
Yeah, he will say, security.
Security.
And have you removed.
I am going to try it at WrestleCon with Goldberg.
Yeah.
Because that's a more loose atmosphere. It's a little less like contained and stuff.
Yeah, and do it with Colt Cabana.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We do need to get into Raw. Like I said, I liked Raw. And I think it started really strong. Triple H and Stephanie came out and said that they were really satisfied with the Royal Rumble at this yes chance just overwhelmed them. But then Triple H panders to the crowd and mocks the Daniel Bryan fans by going, "Oh, did the crowd not get what it wanted?" I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, it was well done, and it was a good thing to see because it proves that they have a plan.
Yeah,
they're doing it on purpose.
They said Steph and Triple H say that the Royal Rumble is great because Randy Orton won against John Cena.
Thank you, Mo.
And Batista won the Royal Rumble. Orton will defend. At this, they say that Orton will defend his title inside the chamber itself next month in Minneapolis at the Elimination Chamber. At this, Daniel Bryan comes out. Huge pop. Yes chance galore. Triple H says Daniel Bryan gave a good little effort in his match, even though he lost. Another just, I love how they're just poking at him. I like it. Bryan says that if you ask anyone, that the biggest disappointment of this year's Royal Rumble was that he was not in the actual Rumble match. Says the people wanted him there. Stephanie says that they were looking out for the health and well-being of Daniel Bryan, and that's why he couldn't wrestle twice in the same night. Bryan calls them out on their bullshit, and Bryan asks the crowd who they came to see. Daniel Bryan erupts. Daniel Bryan wants into the Elimination Chamber, and he states this. Triple H says he isn't alone in this ring, and Bryan is about to have some company. At this, the Shield come down, and they attack. Bryan grabs a chair to put him off, but the numbers game overwhelms him. But then Sheamus and then John Cena come out and clear the ring of the Shield, and they stand tall together in the ring. And then they announce that will be our main event, 3-on-3, Shield versus Cena, Sheamus, and Daniel Bryan. And the winner of that match, all three members will go into the Elimination Chamber.
I'm being nitpicky, but one, that gave away who was going to win the match because you knew that it wasn't going to be Orton and the Shield and then two other spots in the Chamber match. But it was weird that Stephanie and Triple H weren't the ones to mention that, oh, by the way, the winner of this match, and they didn't even make the match. They just came back from break and said it with a bumper saying that here's your match and the winning team goes into the Chamber. If they're so against Daniel Bryan, why would they give him an opportunity to fight for the title?
That's true, but I mean, they put obstacles in their way. I mean, they're like, okay, well, we'll give you a shot, but usually the Shield's pretty good.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what they were thinking. They're like, okay, yeah, we'll give them a chance, but they're going to face the Shield and they'll lose.
Yeah.
I mean, in storyline, the
right.
Shield are the most dominant team, maybe of all time for a 3-man team.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. You're good. That's a good point.
Yeah. Okay. Our first match of the night was the Real Americans versus Sin Cara and Rey Mysterio. Hunico, I should say. And Rey Mysterio. The Real Americans win. Cesaro pins Sin Cara for the win. He hits the very European uppercut and then the neutralizer. I'm really loving the big signs every single night with with Zeb Coulter. I think it's really fun.
We saw some dissension, though. Coulter slapped Jack Swagger outside the ring when Swagger wasn't performing well, and he got back in there, and it motivated him a bit, but it looked like there was maybe another tease of some kind of tension.
I would have loved if he had just
Americans.
cried. If he just started crying. I thought that would have been really fun.
Jack Swagger. When they split, I wonder if it will just be all of a sudden 1 week, oh, they're done, or if there will be something that propels them to splitting, if one will be a good guy and the other bad, or if one will be put at fault for the split. I'm curious to see how that will work out, because they've kind of teased both, where you had Cesaro run out before Coulter got knocked out a couple weeks ago, and now you have here Coulter slapping Swagger.
You know how they should do it? One of the guys on the team should just start dating like Rosa Mendez, and like really take exception to Zeb Coulter, like his anti-immigration stance. Because if I was dating Rosa Mendez, I'd be like, yeah, you know,
you'd disown your family.
I'd be like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea.
Thank
I
you.
like that. Do it, WWE.
Yeah,
do it.
It's all about the pussy.
Right. Okay. Jeez.
Oh, what? It is. Is it not?
It's not.
Rosa Mendez?
Rosa Mendez is a beautiful woman. She's a beautiful woman. All right, next match.
next thing on the card. Wow, you're taking your headphones off.
All right.
Okay. Okay. Come on. We're both adults.
We are.
We can make jokes.
We are. Yes.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
You look a little fluttered.
I was caught off guard there.
Because I said
no. Don't even say. What's the next match? Second match.
The second match of the night. Our next segment was Bad News Barrett.
Yeah.
And he's got some bad news for Cleveland. First off, Miz versus Dolph Ziggler is in the Battle of Cleveland. But he goes on to say that Cleveland is full of losers. Even the winner of this match will be a loser because he's from Cleveland. Bad news.
I have some advice for Wade Barrett. Don't ask for decorum right away. You got to save that line. Save it for the middle of your promo and then drop it. Do the decorum bit sometime in the middle when the crowd actually is being unruly. Don't start the bit with that. But he did bang the gavel a few dozen times to start the show.
Yeah.
That was cool.
It was one of the weaker Bad News Barretts lately. It was cheap heat because
It's because Cleveland doesn't know what it has in front of it. It doesn't realize that it has gold just staring them in the face.
No. I'm saying that doesn't affect me. I'm not from Cleveland. Why would I care if
I loved it.
the home viewers?
I loved Bad News Barrett.
Okay. I know you love him, but I thought it was one of the weaker ones.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
I'm afraid our next match is R-Truth versus Fandango.
I got my finger stuck in me bum.
In me bum. Oh, whoa.
That's not the P word,
talking
dude.
about bums
That's
now?
not the P word.
Plum bum. R-Truth versus Fandango. R-Truth wins, and then he dances with Xavier Woods. Then next up,
That's the appropriate amount of time to spend on that match.
yes, it was. Brad Maddox comes out, and he brings out Randy Orton to Daniel Bryan chants. Says he deserves a little respect. He's the face, Randy Orton says he deserves a little respect. He's the face of the WWE, not Batista, not cue Batista's music. He comes out, gets booed, which I liked. Says no matter what, he's walking out of WrestleMania as the WWE champion, and nothing is going to change that. Well, someone had something to say about that. Barack Lesnar comes out with Paul Heyman. Heyman talks to Brad Maddox and asks for a title shot for Lesnar tonight. Yes, Mo. Either that or put him in a match against Batista tonight. Either way, they want an answer very soon or else. And this stare down was epic.
I want to see Brock Lesnar talk for once. He's capable. Sometimes I feel like he goes in there and WWE doesn't know what he's going to do, and that's not a good thing. I don't mean he's unpredictable. I mean that he proved it on Raw when he threw that chair. He almost threw it into the crowd.
Into the crowd, yeah.
And it bounced, and luckily Charles Robinson caught it on the hop. But Brock he's a veteran. He's been at it for so long. Just because he doesn't talk doesn't mean he's intimidating or scary. I want him to go in there and say what he should say to Batista and to Orton. Tell Orton that your time is over. This championship reign of yours
Our time is now.
is going to end. I am going to destroy you at the Elimination Chamber or tonight if Stephanie and Triple H will grant me that match. I mean, he's got to do something. Are you Googling Jack Connolly's stats?
I was, yeah. I was trying to see how he's doing in Sweden.
I see. Sorry for the side there. So that segment,
Googling?
that segment to me fell a little flat. It could have been more, and there could have been any two of those three getting in someone's face. Didn't have to fight, but get in their face.
I loved it. I really, really liked the segment.
I'm happy for you. I'm glad you liked it.
Brock looked physically intimidating to those guys.
That's the other thing. He looked weird. He's got to stop wearing those Adidas pants. Those are like 14 years outdated. Wear something else. Can you wear a pair of jeans, Brock? Wear a pair of jeans. Come on, buddy.
Like Batista's jeans last week.
I mean, Brock comes out like he's gonna play an open gym or something.
Hey, I prefer Lesnar's get up to Batista's like he's going out to the club in Miami.
No, I mean Batista looks original and different.
You look cross-eyed.
That's fine. That's fine. He's got that puffy face. He's back on his regular cycle of injections.
Human growth hormone.
Allegedly. But Brock's better than what he's showing. He needs something more than just Paul Heyman coming out every week and introducing himself and doing the same shtick that he's done for like 2 years now. We know Brock Lesnar can talk. Not well, but he can talk. He needs to do something else.
This is the most excited I've been about Brock Lesnar since he's come back.
Well, does it have anything to do with the fact that we'll get to see his next match? You'll get to see his next 2 matches.
Well, true, but I mean, for the fact that he's going after the top guys, not just like, oh, I'm going to, come in and fight for the most money. He's like, I want the title.
The title makes it exciting, but he could make it more if he gave more. The title alone makes it a big deal and makes it worth getting excited about, but it could be so much more if he put in a little more effort to be different. That's all I'm saying.
Maybe. I'm Brock Lesnar in the Elimination Chamber. He's going to hurt some people. Like, I bring up Goldberg again. Have you watched the Elimination Chamber with Goldberg? That's the kind of impact I'm expecting from Brock Lesnar. He's not going to win it, but he's going to make his presence known, and I'm excited to see that. Not just because I'm going to be there. I would be excited even if I was a viewer at home. I think they really set up the Elimination Chamber well on Monday Night Raw, and I'm literally excited for it, not just because I'm going to be there.
I'm looking forward to it too. I could have done without Sheamus in the match, but maybe it'll be a key reason he turns heel or something in that match. We'll see. Lesnar is a big reason why I'm excited with the current WWE storylines, but I want more from him. I like him, and I'm proud that he's a Minnesota guy, but he can do better. He's better than this.
Is Batista going to be in the Elimination Chamber?
I don't think so.
No.
I think he'll probably have a match. If I were to break it down, I could figure out who's available for him to fight, because I think the last 2 entrants will be Brock and Punk. Or maybe Punk fights Batista and they leave him out of the chamber. But I think he will be in the chamber. I don't see Batista in it. I don't see any reason to be if he's already the main eventer at WrestleMania to win the Rumble.
He could fight himself.
Yeah, unless they threw, they could throw a curveball and say, look, I don't know why he would opt to do it, because it wouldn't be a good deal for him, but maybe somehow he has to fight in the chamber and give up his Royal Rumble spot if he wins. I don't, or no, maybe that would be the thing, that he doesn't have to win. But if he wins, someone else gets the number one contender spot. I don't know. It'd be stupid to have him in the chamber match, though.
Well, we have Cena Orton, Daniel Bryan, Sheamus, probably CM Punk,
And Brock Lesnar. Unless they have...
CM Punk's the only...
Or do they have
unknown.
Brock Batista? Do they have Brock Batista at the chamber and Lesnar's not in it? They could do that.
No, Lesnar came out and said he's fighting for the title already.
Yeah, but has it been made official?
No, but I see him in the chamber.
I think he will be too, but it wouldn't be the first time they changed something up.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, it'll be exciting. I mean, 5 guys pretty much for sure going to be in that chamber.
Maybe it's... So if we have Langston versus Ambrose, just by speculation, who does that free up to fight Batista? I really can't think. I mean, there'd be no reason to put Dolph or Ryback in there in a match against Batista.
Boy, I don't know.
He wouldn't fight Triple H, I don't think.
No.
Triple H wouldn't fight at the chamber. Kane? No.
No. Are we boring you that much?
I can't think.
Brad Maddox, maybe.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I think they set it up really, really well. And this build for Elimination Chamber should be good. Especially with, Lesnar being on every week. Batista's going to be on every week. You got those guys here through Mania, basically. They're going to be on every show. It's not going to be like, 2 weeks before SummerSlam we'll get an appearance and then nothing, and then,
Batista's here for 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. So our next match was the Battle of Cleveland, Miz versus Ziggler. Ziggler ends up winning with the zigzag after breaking out of the figure 4. I thought it was a decent match. It was what it was. Not really many people cared.
No, it was okay, but I just kept thinking this is where the Miz Dad episode happened. It was in Cleveland.
Miz Dad for the WWE Hall of Fame 2014. Del Rio took on Kofi Kingston. Del Rio wins with a kick to the head. Yep.
Hooray.
All right. Code Dust took on the New Age Outlaws in a rematch from the night before. The New Age Outlaws come out and said that they didn't become tag team champions just because they're friends with certain people. And I thought that was a good point because they actually won the match. Like, there was no cheatery. It was just what it was. And they won because they were better. I thought it was a really good match. Right in the middle of it, right kind of near the end of it, I guess, Lesnar comes down and lays out both Cody and Goldust because Triple H didn't choose between the 2 matches. So this was the or else. And he starts taking chairs to both members of Code Dust and just looks like a beast once again. I loved it.
I'm guessing that allows them to have a title match at the chamber then. I mean, of course they could do it next week, but I think they'll probably have that rematch at the chamber.
I agree.
Oh man, I'm really stuck on who Batista would face.
You literally have the roster in front of you right
Big
now.
Show.
Maybe, but Big Show's hurt.
What, really?
Well, yeah.
David Otunga. No. I don't know. I think it's probably going to be Big Show.
Maybe.
Based on all of that.
Justin Roberts.
Big Show or Kane, but probably not Kane.
Naomi.
Because we could get Batista in the chamber and then have Punk versus Kane, one-on-one match. But really, CM Punk has to be in that championship match. It's ridiculous if he's not there. But that's it. It'd be Batista Big Show.
Yeah, I mean, it makes the most sense. But
You feed Big Show to Batista after he gets decimated by Brock Lesnar.
Doesn't make sense.
Unless Mark Henry comes back and fights Batista.
Maybe.
I don't know.
But his arm's broken, remember?
He's the world's strongest man.
Yeah, and his arm isn't broken.
Yeah.
But I liked when Lesnar came down and took out Code Dust. I like how they followed through with their threat, and he's a bad man.
You could have
bad man.
You could have Batista fight Damian Sandow. Bad News Barrett. Unico.
Did you like Lesnar coming down and interrupting?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I did.
All right.
Because I didn't want to see Code Dust lose cleanly. So, yeah, I was totally cool with that.
Our next match was the throwaway Divas match of the night. The Bellas and Tons of Funk took on Oksana, AJ, Tamina, and Alicia Fox. There was a cool spot in this, and it was a triple suplex.
The Funkadactyls, not Tons of Funk.
I wrote the Funks. that would probably been a little unfair.
Terry and Dory Funk. And I don't think Cameron got in the match. I could be wrong, but I don't think she got in the match.
If she did, it was unmemorable.
Yeah.
But there was a triple suplex, which was really cool. They had 3 people on each side. I've never seen a spot like that before. That was neat. Naomi hits her rear view finisher on AJ to get the pin for the win. Of course, AJ can never win a match unless it's a title match.
She not only lost the match, but she successfully fought the match with a hat strapped to her shorts.
What?
She wore a hat on her belt loop.
Really?
She had a hat, yeah, like an AJ hat. I'm sure it was new merch or whatever. She wore it on her belt loop the whole match.
I didn't even notice. I should. Apparently, I was like flipping through it or something. Yeah. All right. And then there's one announcement that they made right before the main event. Jerry Lawler comes out, and we have a second member of the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2014. And it's another huge, shocking surprise to go along with the Ultimate Warrior. Jake the Snake. 2 guys I never, ever thought were going to be in the Hall of Fame are going in the same class. Jake
the Snake was one of the best creepy wrestlers back in the 80s, in the early 90s. He was one of the guys who was a regular on Superstars when I started watching as a kid. And I just remember getting a kick out of Damien and then later Lucifer when Damien died. And now it's funny that they talk about Damien again all the time. Oh, it's Damien, it's Damien. When the earthquake killed Damien. He sat on him, yeah.
That's like for real?
Yeah, for the storyline, yeah. The earthquake sat on Jake's bag and killed Damien.
Maybe it's like on The Simpsons when Snowball died and they just got Snowball too, and it's the exact same cast.
Snowball and Santa's Little Helper, or Santos Al Helper.
Yes. Oh yeah, when he got his credit card. Love The Simpsons. But yeah, huge. That's a huge announcement. I just can't.
Kudos to Jake Roberts.
The guy was like on crack.
I think he
hard drugs.
I think he recently called the Ultimate Warrior an a-hole or something like that.
Sounds about right.
Now they're going in together, so that should be fun.
Yeah, all right. We'll see the fireworks fly. That left our main event: The Shield versus Sheamus, Cena, and Daniel Bryan. During the match, there was a Roman Reigns chant, which I loved. He's getting over in a big way. I mean, people can tell he's the next guy.
After the Rumble, Steve Austin tweeted, hell of an effort by that Roman Reigns, or he's going to have a hell of a run as a babyface someday.
Yeah. A lot of people were tweeting about Roman Reigns and his awesome match.
You know what I love about Reigns is while he has gotten better on the mic, that was the knock on him from the beginning, was that I can't really talk well. For a guy who necessarily doesn't have the greatest mic skills, even though I think they are getting better and will no doubt be great at some point, or very good, he, better than most people, has great facial expressions in the ring during the match. He looks so comfortable and so confident in there, and I love watching him do his thing. I love the Superman punch, the spear. I want to see him start doing a power bomb more often instead of just that triple power bomb that the rest of the Shield does with him. But he's so fun, and I can't wait until he splits from the Shield. They can stay together for another year or two. I don't care. They're great together. But I'm saying when they split, to have that division where it's a powerhouse Reigns with the crowd behind him against just this evil, vindictive Dean Ambrose, which I assume is how it will end up. And where Seth Rollins goes, who knows? Probably with Ambrose. But Reigns' stock just continues to soar.
The way that the Shield has been booked since their debut has been perfect. they've handled the Shield the best I've ever seen a team. Some young guys, they didn't Ryback him. They could have. He's a powerhouse. He could have easily been another Ryback. And you need to build these guys. It takes time. You can't just throw them in, let them lose to Cena 4 times, and expect them to recover from that.
3 things have been important in the development of the Shield on TV. 1, they've stayed the same unit the entire time. They haven't added any extra members. 2, they did not give them a mouthpiece manager at any point. That's a big reason. 3, WWE has not put the Shield into anything silly when it comes to backstage segments with catering or Thanksgiving. They haven't been, for the most part, they haven't stood on the stage with the rest of the roster. Oftentimes they've been ringside near the Authority. There were a couple times, one in particular, where they were on the stage during Randy Orton's ceremony after TLC on Raw, the Raw the next night, but they were not on the ramp with everybody or on the stage with everybody. They were below on the floor together. And so WWE has made them stand out and made them seem unique. And that's been the important thing. So these guys have been allowed on their own for a year plus to develop and get comfortable with who they are as wrestlers. And that's why it's worked so well.
I totally agree. I love the Shield. But it was another great match. Everyone flying around. There was the worst spear I've ever seen Roman Reigns do, though. He hit the shin of Cena.
Yeah, I think there was a little miscommunication on that. I don't know if Cena was expecting him to do it a little differently, but they clashed.
Yeah, it was a little weird. But this time, interrupted by the Wyatts, who attacked John Cena, costing Shield the match, and they were not happy about it. This is clearly setting up a feud between the two factions.
The question is, now the great thing about this is it ties these teams over for Chamber. It allows you to not have Reigns in the Chamber match, which I thought he would be in it up until yesterday. But it leaves the question, which is great that it does leave questions, is did the Wyatts do this on purpose? Did they intentionally get the Shield out of that match? Did they do it to get Bryan into the championship, which would be weird, Bryan and Cena? Was it inadvertent that they didn't realize that, oh geez, this means those guys are going to go into the match?
Oh, we are stupid.
So, I wonder if it's some sort of plan, whether it's originating from the Wyatts or something else. That's what I'm looking forward to. Or did they just say, well, in spite of Bryan and Cena being on this other side, we want to make sure that the Shield aren't in this match. I don't know. It's a little weird because I thought it would have been cool if the Wyatts came out like that and then attacked the Shield to intentionally exclude Bryan and Cena from the championship match.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. And that's the best part about wrestling is, what's going to happen next week? What's going to happen on SmackDown? What's going to, what are the matches going to be? That's why I really liked Raw. There's a lot of that. But we do need to wrap up quick. We were going to do a top 10 list, kind of like a power rankings, as far as like who are the hottest wrestlers right now and who are positioned best.
Here,
I didn't make a list.
Yeah,
so you got it.
I made a top 10 list, and it does not include tag teams. Because often WWE, what it does with its power rankings is it will put entire teams in one spot, and I didn't do that. So it does come at the cost of Goldust and Cody Rhodes and the Usos and the Real Americans, who I all think are doing well to a degree. I think Goldust easily could be in this top 10 right now, and I think that Cody Rhodes could be in it, but he's not. I just have individuals. And these to me are, first it was hard to come up with 10 deserving. There's a real solid 7, and then 8 through 10 are kind of like, oh, okay. Number 10 right now, based on how he has looked and how he's been booked, is Big E Langston. I think he has a great 2014 ahead of him. He has the Intercontinental Championship. He could be fighting in a unification match with the U.S. title and Dean Ambrose. We'll see if that happens. Number 9, even though he just got decimated, still every time he's in a match, he can be a threat to who he's fighting. It's the Big Show. So we start the list with two bigs.
Sweet.
I thought you had something to say about Big Show.
Nope.
Okay. Number 8, Dean Ambrose. I put Ambrose in here because even though Roman Reigns has been the standout of the Shield, you can't ignore how good Dean Ambrose is and has been this entire Shield run. I think he also will have a great singles career that includes some championships of the largest kind.
I agree.
Number 7, we have Batista. And
Winner of the Royal Rumble.
Winner of the Royal Rumble. Recently back.
He didn't rip his pants.
That's a victory
Which
in
is
itself.
nice.
Yeah. Number 6, I have John Cena. And right now, Andy's like, oh, number 6, come on, that's a ripoff. But John Cena right now, he's kind of that guy who's he's helping other guys out. He's in a mix of matches. Now he's gonna help elevate Bray Wyatt's character and standpoint in the WWE. So that's good. But he's 6 right now. Number 5, I have Randy Orton. Dr. Ton.
Dr. Ton, WWE champion.
WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And
I think he should be higher, actually.
You know, you could make that argument. He is the champion.
Just power rankings, because he's beaten Cena twice in a row now.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't lost. I'd say he's in the top 3 easily.
Could be. He's losing points for being a baby, though.
For being a little bitch.
and it's also crowded up top. Number 4 right now, Brock Lesnar.
I can't deny that. I love Brock.
Brock's a monster, and that's why I have Orton at 5, because Brock Lesnar is, I think, going to be World Heavyweight Champion by the end of the year. At some point, he will have that title. It could be brief. It could be a week or a month, but he could do it, and I think he will. Number 3, my bias gets in the way here, but CM Punk is number 3. I put him here because he wins quite a bit. He had a great Rumble. He lasted longer than anyone else in the match. I think it was like 54 minutes or something like that. Seth Rollins was second with like 48 minutes and change. And I think we are going to see Punk in the chamber, and I'm still holding out hope that he could win. I don't think he will, because I don't think he's going to fight Batista at WrestleMania.
No.
But we'll see.
I
think it's going to be him and Triple H.
We could drop down Punk just a couple spots.
That's why I let my bias go in the way. Get in the way there. Number 2, Roman Reigns.
Can't argue with that.
He looks tremendous. We're going to see a lot of development from his character here.
WWE record.
12 eliminations.
12 eliminations.
That's a good feat. And number 1, you can't deny Daniel Bryan. He has the crowd. He has the ring ability. He has a lot of the victories, even though he lost on Sunday. And he had that pretty good conflict with the Wyatts.
I would have put Bray Wyatt ahead of like Big E and Big Show and Dean Ambrose.
I thought about that, but I want to see a few more matches from Bray Wyatt.
Sure.
He's way up there when it comes to his charisma and his outside of the ring stuff and his promos, but I need to see a few more matches from him. He had a great Rumble match with Bryan. That was a lot of fun. But I think in a month, if I look at this again, he will probably be on that top 10, especially if he fights Cena at Mania, if they set up for that, and he has a good chamber 3-on-3.
Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, that's our show for you guys this week. Be sure to check us out on Twitter, as always, at Immortals PCast, at 97Bush, at Jimmy Bellamy. Also, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on WordPress, Podbean,
iTunes,
Ustream, iTunes, and
that covers it, man.
Yeah, that's it. That's all we're on. But yeah, thanks again for listening. We'll see you guys next week.
Take care.
All right, peace.